Hello and welcome to No Screen Time, Steam Time, where we get to explore and discover science, technology, engineering, art, and math with you all. And today we actually get to do a special kickoff for our summer reading program with our special STEAM episodes with the theme of Tales and Tales. I'm Janine.
And I'm Jean.
And with this special theme, Jean, I gotta tell you, Tales and Tales, I love stories. I love hearing stories. As a kid, even now as an adult, I like hearing stories. But one of them, and it was a nursery rhyme, but I loved it, and it was Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
But Janine, you know, or you don't know, that if only Humpty Dumpty had soaked in vinegar for a couple of days before that event, we would have had a whole different end to this story.
I see where you're going with this, Jean.
Watch, and he would have bounced.
That is so cool. You are giving a nice little introduction to what our cool science experiment is going to be. Because, yeah, that's right. Humpty Dumpty, he could have used a little vinegar.
I think so.
And so this is going to be our really cool science experiment we get to have fun with you guys today. It is called the bouncing egg. And so, Jean, as we look into this experiment, let's start with the supplies that you use to create this, and then we'll talk a little bit about the science behind it.
Okay, great. The supplies you're going to need are pretty basic. You'll need a clear container, glass, or if you have clear plastic, that'll be fine too. Your basic white vinegar, an egg, a raw egg, and food coloring is optional if you would like to do that too.
And you'll find out soon about that food coloring because it's kind of a cool thing that you can do with it. So if you want to, why don't you show kind of how we get this experiment going, Jean, and I'll talk a little bit about that science behind it too. So
okay, I will.
I know you're going to take that glass and we are going to put in, you're going to show them how we do that carefully.
Okay, yes. Take the egg, carefully put it into the container, and then get this out of the way. You'll take your vinegar and pour it into the container carefully so that you want to make sure to cover the egg completely like that. Okay, and if you choose to use food coloring, now's the time when you'd go ahead and just drop that in there. We did about 10 drops of food coloring, and you want to give it a little, get it to swirl around in there and dissolve. Okay, like that.
And turning your wonderful fingers blue.
Yes.
Just because Humpty Dumpty was feeling blue. And so now the cool thing that's happening here, so that you can see, is that when the vinegar is added, vinegar is actually considered an acid. And it's going to start to interact with the egg. And egg shells are made of calcium. And so when the vinegar starts to interact with the calcium, it's actually going to dissolve the calcium. And if you notice, one of the first things I do want to point out, notice how this egg is on the bottom right now. That's because that egg is heavier than the other eggs that you see over here that we've done. This one was an egg just like that one. How many hours ago, Jean?
24.
This was about 24 hours ago. But notice what's happening is because the vinegar will start to dissolve and eat the calcium, that calcium then dissipates, it magically poofs. Actually doesn't magically by science. It's basically turning into carbon dioxide and it's lifting out. But because of that, the shell is going away and therefore the weight of the shell is going away. And notice it's starting to lift. It's becoming less dense than the vinegar. Whereas this one is on the bottom because the shell's still intact.
You can see how it is reacting actually and creating those bubbles of carbon dioxide.
Yep, and the oxygen building up there and building around. It starts to eat away at that eggshell. So once that goes, the next level on an egg, though, is called the membrane. And that is staying there. And that is what allows the egg to bounce in the end because it's still intact. The vinegar or the acid cannot get through the membrane. And so that's where part of that science comes into play. And the inside of the egg stays the same. And because it can't get through, Jean, this is your beautiful blue food coloring. That's why you use this, because if you, in the end, if you can see here, you can actually see the yolk. It's still yellow.
I see it. Yep.
Okay.
I do.
So what do you think's happening with the inside of that egg? Do you think it's blue? Do you think it's yellow?
That's a good question.
And that's where the blue dye is going to come in a little bit. But before we do, I think we have to have a little fun.
Okay.
So let's do our experiment. Now, how many hours was this? This was 24. How many hours was this one?
This one was 72.
70, that's right. This one has been, this has been 2 minutes. That one's been 72. So 72 hours for our egg that we're going to bounce. So should we give it a shot?
Let's do it.
Perfect. And
Okay.
oh my God, that's a beautiful egg.
As you can see, yes, it's a rich color of blue that has.
What does it feel like?
Oh yeah, it's soft. It's kind of squishy, so you don't want to squish it hard when you pull it out of there. Smooth, slippery, and we'll see what
It is
happens.
beautiful. It is beautiful. Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Boom, and it
Oh
bounces.
my God. That is so cool. I gotta see that. Here we go. Slow motion. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the science behind an egg, super fun that you can have with that. Now the final thing we want to look at before we wrap up is the blue, because we want to investigate. Just a reminder to the kids at home, part of the fun part of science is investigating. And so when Jeanne and I were working on this, we wanted to figure out too, what is it going to look like? Is it going to be, did the blue make it through at all? We know the vinegar doesn't, but does the blue dye, will it change it? So we're going to investigate a little bit.
Right.
That's what we're going to do here. And Jeanne, you have a nice safe knife.
Right. We're going to try cutting this with a plastic knife, and if it doesn't work, we'll have to grab something sharper, but we like to be safe. So
I love that trial and error. That's good.
Yes.
All about science.
All right, so here we go. Look at that.
Oh my
Look at that.
gosh! Did not think that one was going to happen, Jeanne.
I didn't either.
My expectation literally was, and I should have said this earlier, but I thought when you cut it, it was going to cut like a deviled egg. I
Right.
thought that when you opened it, it would be like, we'd see the yolk. Oh my gosh!
So
Look
as
at
you
that.
can see, it's all still liquidy. The yolk is still soft. And we had a little bit of an
What is this?
explosion. This is the membrane.
That is, oh my gosh!
So that is still.
So that is what the vinegar could not get by and couldn't get in there because those proteins would not absorb the vinegar. That is so cool. This is why science is super fun.
Yeah.
I love this. And safe.
Yes.
So, well, we hope you had fun today with our episode here on the bouncing egg. I do believe Humpty Dumpty is going to be a little bit blue.
I think, yes.
But it was a cool thing.
Yeah.
So, it is summer reading, don't forget.
Don't forget to register at maricopacountyreads.org and sign up.
That's right, because if you sign up and you watch the video, you can get points. If you actually do the project and then email us the picture, you can get 15 points. If you bring in the picture, don't bring this in, bring in the picture. You can go ahead and I think it's a 25 points. You get 25 points if you bring in the photo to show us and tell us how much fun you had. So bring the photo and a cool laughter or a fun joke or science portion of this.
Your story about how it worked for you.
Indeed, either way you're going to get points. For watching this video today though, you do get points just for that, and here is your code. So go to maricopacountyreads.org, get into your login, type in that code, and earn some points. And that said, that concludes today's No Screen Time Steam Time with me, Janine, and
I'm Jeanne.
and get out there, keep exploring, discovering, and having fun with STEAM. We'll see you next time.
Bye.